Hi, I'm Tom Miggett from Tom Miggett Photography. The paradox of digital photography is that nowadays anybody can take a digital photograph, anybody can edit it on their own computer, and anybody can actually print it afterwards on their own printer. But the reality of things is many few do so, and I wasn't one of them for many years. The reason is that I've always found my work looking so much better on my computer screen than on the print. There are many factors that come into play, but the one that I want to focus on today is your computer screen. What you might not know is no matter how much money you spend on your computer screen, whether it's built in with your computer like most Apple products, or a separate monitor on which you spend over £1,000, all those monitors will not be truly parametered right outside the factory. What I mean by this is that they will not be parametered to reflect the true colors, the true luminosity, the true contrast. It's a little bit like your TV screen, the one you just bought from your favorite store. No matter how much money you spend on your TV screen, one of the very first actions you're going to take once back home with it is to set the luminosity, the brightness level, the contrast and the color tone. While it's fine for your TV screen because it's important for you to appreciate the image and watch the movie with the color tone you like, when we talk about computer screen, it's slightly different because your work, your edit, your choice of color tones, contrast, sharpness, darkness, shadows will depend on the information projected by your computer screen. So it's important that that information is as accurate as possible. And as you can already foresee, if what you see on your screen does not reflect the reality, what's going to happen is that should you share your resulted image with one of your friends who would have a different computer, he might actually not see the image the same way, with the same color tone, the same brightness level, the same shadows, the same contrast, and same goes for the print. So very often when you print your favorite image and you look at the result, and you will blame either your own printer or you will blame the printing service saying, well, the quality is rubbish. Well, let's make sure that your computer screen is actually set properly. And how you do so? Well, while many computers will have a color calibration tool built in as part of the software, as part of the OS operating system, this will not work very accurately because it only takes care of the information from inside the screen. But what's important is the image, it's the tones, the brightness level, the contrast seen from the outside. And that's why you need a true calibration tool. That used to be limited to real professionals, people in the printing industry, people who would do digital work for a living. But over the past few years, the prices have dropped dramatically, so much that anybody who's really committed to photography, who will spend countless hours in post-production with Photoshop, Lightroom and all the other software, I would really encourage these people, and if you're one of them, to invest in a calibration tool. Now the prices are starting slightly under £100 and can go a lot more. So this one is the Color Monkey display from x-rite. X-rite is one of the second leader in the color calibration industry. The second one I believe is called Data Source, and the product is called the Spider with a Y. So the way it works is that, well, this one is slightly different because it has the ability to measure the ambient light, but all calibration tools are pretty much the same thing. It's a hardware that we place on the screen itself. There is a software that comes with it. The software will throw different color tone, brightness, contrast level and everything. This piece of hardware will measure the result, and at the end of the process it will create a profile, a color profile, and in your computer preferences on display you should normally have the option to load a color profile, and by loading it you basically tell your computer to use the accurate colors. Here inside there is a lens, and that is what is going to measure. So what we have here is two computers, two laptops. This is a MacBook Pro 17-inch on the left side. It hasn't been calibrated, and on the right side you can see this is the latest MacBook Air. It has been calibrated, so you can see the differences between the two pictures. It's exactly the same picture that I just copied across. On the left side where it hasn't been calibrated, it slightly goes on the greenish side. The shirt is not really blue, it's more turquoise. The face on the girl is kind of losing tones between their hair and the skin tone. You can see the back as well. It was a gray background, and you can see on the left color, on the left screen, sorry, it turns a bit greenish, where on the right side is more in the blue tones, and that is what meant to be. So if I was to actually print the image, it would most likely look like the one on the right side than it would on the left screen. So that's very, very important. So let's start with it. Let's trigger the Color Monkey software. And you can see with this device I have the option to calibrate either a projector or a display. So here we're going to go with the display. And there's often two modes, the easy mode and the advanced mode. I recommend that the very first time, especially if you do not know anything about calibration, that you go with the easy mode, and then if you're not happy with the result, then go with the advanced one. So I wasn't happy with the easy result, the easy mode result, I would say. So I went to the advanced one, and that was much better. So I went, now we say next. Before I go next, just going back here, as you see, I've chosen the luminosity. Luminosity is the brightness level, and I've chosen it to be 120. This is kind of a standard one. I like the result with 20. And then I'll go next. Don't worry too much about the options. Now to measure the ambient light. So to measure the ambient light, I need to actually plug my device, sorry, to the computer using the USB. And once it detects, what you do is you actually place your device close to your computer, and then you will hit the measure option once it detects that your device is plugged in. So now let's measure it. And just step away from the device. That's it. It measured it. Now we go next, and now it tells me to actually remove this cover, and now we can have the bare lens. It tells me to place it on the screen. So the nice thing with this device here that it comes with a counterweight, which is great because the older version didn't have one, so it was not always very stable. And what you do, you're going to place your device on top of your screen and make sure that it's actually really flat. So incline your display if you need to, and then just click next. What's going to happen is that it's going to go and analyze the luminosity, the contrast, and the colors. The very first time you're going to go through that process, it may actually take about 10 minutes. Why do I say the very first time? Well, because your screen will change over time. It may change over time. I know that professionals will have a tendency to calibrate their screen every week. I would recommend you do it at least once a month. So he is asking me if I have a contrast button on my computer, which I do not, so I click not and go next. And so afterwards, when you do it like every month, it will actually take a lot less time, somewhere around between 3 and 5 minutes. So this is fairly fast. Here I cannot go any higher because it's the luminosity, it's the brightness level that I can get. So I click next, and this is going to carry on now for 5 minutes. As you can see at the bottom, it's written. So I'm going to speed this up, and we're going to talk once the process is completed. So that's it, it just finished now. So Now it's asking me if I want to measure the flare. So as you know, some of the screen may actually be very sensitive to flare. So here I have the option to do this, so I'm just going to do that about 30 centimeters away. It's a very, very quick process. Just hold your device like this. Not all devices offer you this option, but on this one it does. So it should be fairly quick. That's it, it's done. I can put a cover back on the device, and here you can see we go next, and now I can actually put a name. So I'm just going to say manual. So here underscore, sorry, this is somebody changed the language so I'm a bit lost, but let's say manual like this. All right, and I'll save it. And I'll show you afterwards what we do. The nice thing about this software is at the very end it will show you the before and afters, and also there's a few pictures that comes with the software, and you can see how the color profile changes the appearance of those images. But the nice thing is that you can actually upload one of your image, and that's a very cool touch. So this is done. As you can see, you can have a reminder here, but I'm not setting it up on this machine. Clicking next, and so now you can see the effect. So if I go before, that's how this image looked before. Now after, with really much more color, it looks much better. What I'll do is I'll do next, and I'm going to close this and go back to my initial image. So let me terminate this program and go back to my image, and I'm removing the full screen so we can play with the preference. So if you're on a Mac, you can see this is in the preferences in display. You have the color option. The default one was like this, so the color LCD. This is exactly how it was before. Now with the manual one, you can see the result. So a drastic change, really. So imagine what it would have looked like if you had edited with the wrong screen. So I'm just bringing it full screen again, and you can see next to the other screen and see how it looks. Well, this is it for today. So I really encourage you to buy any calibration tool that you can find on the market, the one that really suits your budget and your need. This more complex one than this one, but I just didn't feel the need for it. So this is it. So until the next time, this is Tommy saying, if you like it, well, capture it and maybe calibrate that screen so your colors remain the true ones. Cheers.